What do you know? What do you know? Le magazine anglais qui vous permet de baigner dans la langue de Shakespeare. What do you know? Une production et une réalisation de RAMATOU EYAWOLE.
Hello, hope you'll be glad to tune into Radio Lomé and be part of our discussions of today's Saturday. The host is EYAWOLE RAMATOU. I'm not alone in the studio. I have my guests with me. They will introduce themselves to you. On my right-hand side, I have
Emmanuel Ankrabatelos.
And on my left-hand side,
Bright Norma.
My extreme left,
Ade Mohammed.
You are welcome. Today we are going to talk about dowry. What is a dowry?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'll first of all say a very good evening to our cherished listeners, and then also greet my people from Village de Benin, University of Cape Coast students. Dowry. When we talk about dowry, it talks about, or it is when the bride's family pays or give something to the groom or the groom's family as a sign to show that one, they are in agreement of the marriage, and that also serves as economic security for the bride in the marriage, because that thing, it is given to the groom to be able to cater for the bride. So when we say bride price, they are the gifts or the things that the bride's family give to the groom to be able to cater for their daughter. That is dowry.
Okay, my dear.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. And I also grabbed the opportunity to greet all listeners and also greet University of Education Winneba students at Village de Benin and all lecturers at Village de Benin. Dowry. When we talk about dowry, as my brother just said, dowry is a token given by a man who has the intention to take a woman as a wife and to authenticate the marriage between the two of them. That is basically what a dowry is, in my point of view. Yeah.
Okay, then is it important to pay a dowry before a marriage? Or when you see a woman, I love you, no problem, let's go ahead. From your point of view, is it important? You just see the woman, we are married and we are husband and wife.
Thank you very much. In the olden days, it was very, very important.
So in these days, dowry is not important?
In these days, people have spoken against it, because dowry in the olden times were, it was in a hierarchical, like we consider it in a class, that if, assuming I married a king's daughter, because he's a king, he has access to the whole land and a whole lot of properties. So he can just give me a vast land. And as a man, when I've been given that land, I treasure it so much. So I ensure that I cater for the daughter very, very well. Because if I don't cater for her very well and I divorce her, or I assault, all those things will be taken back. You get it? But then, if someone marries someone from a poor home, their family do not have anything, maybe that man might not get that vast land for you. He can only give you something small, which might not even do anything to help you. So when it happens like that, the man tends to look down on the woman. The woman might not even have a voice to say anything. Because it annoys the man. Why should my friend go and marry someone to get like 50 acres or 100 acres of land? I'll come and marry you, and even 1 acre of land is difficult for me to get. In the end, they tend to forget the love. They tend to assault the women. they give them a whole lot of maltreatment. So it has been spoken against to the extent that in this our present times, it is no more considered again as it was, the value was put on it in the olden times. So nowadays, they don't really consider it. People marry without dowry.
Do you buy that idea?
All right, I actually don't see it that way. I see that dowry is something very important, really important, both in a traditional aspect and both in the Christianity and even Islamic aspect of the religion, and maybe among ourselves, our societies. We see dowry to be a very important thing. Whatever we say, when we talk about marriage, and what we look at is the traditional aspect, home aspect, and whatever we do there is nothing but the dowry. Even if you go and have a wedding with a woman, the pastor will ask you, have you paid her bride price? You see, so if without the dowry, I don't think the consummation of any marriage will come to a reality. And even if I am a Muslim, and I know that dowry is something that is very key when it comes to marriage. And outside that Islamic religious aspect of marriage, I know that I also see around people who are not even in the church. There is a bride price you are supposed to pay before a woman is granted to you as a wife. So I see it to be very important even today. Yes.
Okay.
Can I
Come in.
My brother was talking about bride price instead of dowry. Bride price and dowry, they are not the same. When we talk about bride price, bride price is what the groom rather gives. That is a token that the groom gives to the bride's family to ask a hand in marriage. But when we talk about dowry is what the bride's family, assuming you have come to marry my daughter, and I say, okay, you have done very well to come and marry my daughter. So in order to wish you well and to see you that you can take good care of my daughter, let me give you this land, let me give you this property. Sometimes it might be even gold, so that you can feed on it, or to be able to cater for what? My daughter. So they are not the same thing. Bride price is very important up till now, because you can't go to someone's house to marry without paying bride price as a man. So you pay bride price. By the dowry is when the woman, her family give you something to push you that, okay, we wish you well. You can go and continue with your marriage.
But excuse me, since we are comparing the two things together, dowry is something you pay to the woman's family.
Yes.
Good.
For you to ask of the hands of the lady that I saw, like in Proverbs that they will say that I saw a flower in your garden and I've come to pluck this flower. So for me to show a respect, or to show that those that have labored to water this flower, to do this or that, you supposed to give something before you take something.
Yes.
So dowry has been instituted from the olden days.
Good.
That's whenever you want to marry a woman, you're supposed to pay something to the family, and that is like a token. That is very important. Like I was told of a story that there is a certain man who married a lady. They have 4 kids, and now the lady died. Now for the man to go and inform the lady's family, when he got there, they said they did not know him. Have you paid the dowry of our daughter? From our point of view, according to what they say, that is what I'm quoting, you people are just boyfriend and girlfriend. We did not recognize you. Now, all those things that the man supposed to pay, like maybe 4 clause, 3 and something, they double it as a penalty. So paying a dowry, from that story that I've heard, I hope is important.
Yeah, sure. And the dowry is actually what you give out to the parents of the
bride price is what is given to the bride. I hope our faithful listeners can be part of this discussion.
Yes,
to clarify.
Very soon. Yes, sure.
Because a dowry is what you pay to the family. It's something that you're supposed to give to the family, that I want to marry your daughter. You cannot just go and stand there and say, oh, good morning, Dad, or good morning, Grandpa. I've seen your daughter and I wanted to marry her. They'll say, okay, you wanted to marry my daughter. No problem, we've heard. You are from which family? This, and that. They will do investigation. Then they will say, okay, we've heard. So after that, a list will be given to your fiancé, to be given to you. And that is what you are going to send as a dowry to the bride's family. So our faithful listeners who are doing the listening can call. If my technical producer is ready, or do you want to add something?
I would just want to give a quotation in the Bible for us to fish out, to see. We want to be on the level that the dowry is the token or the gifts given by a man to the family of a woman who he intends to marry. Yes, and if you look at Exodus chapter 25 verse 17, you see there was a situation whereby a man defiled a lady that he was in love with. So in order to come together as husband and wife, the law was given that if her father, and I'm reading from chapter 25 verse 17, if her father utterly refuses to give her unto you, you shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Like if you go and you put it before the father and he is not willing.
Excuse me, we have somebody online. Hello. No problem. The person can try and come in again. You can continue.
Yes. So here the quotation is saying that if you get to the father and the father is not ready to give the daughter to you wholeheartedly for free as a wife, then you have to pay the dowry that is equivalent to a virgin. You understand? So the dowry here, from deducing from this quotation, it means the dowry is what you are giving to the parents as a token to symbolize that you are actually going to be together as husband and wife.
Okay, thank you. Hello. Hello, may I know your name?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, your name, please.
My name is Lucky.
Lucky?
Yeah.
Calling from where?
Calling from Togo.
Okay. Which part of Togo?
In Agodewe.
Okay. Your contribution.
Okay?
Your contribution to our discussion.
My contribution is just like about the discussion we people are discussing about marriage.
You are welcome. Dowry. We are talking about dowry.
Dowry, yeah. About the dowry, it's composing that you must drop something as usual to say that you came for something and you came to seek for something. That is composing that you must drop the thing that was raised in the olden days.
Thank you very much indeed, Brother Lucky. My regards to everybody.
So the bone of contention here in some places like a place like India, for example, it is the woman who pays the dowry
for the
men.
Yeah, that is very good. The men, they are lucky.
You see, so here if you don't if you meet an explanation in a research and you don't get it, and it is from that angle, you may be going for the point that it is something that is given by the woman's family. But in general, we say that the dowry is the men's family who give out the.
So, you know, we have bride price and we have dowry, and they are not the same as we are trying to establish. But when we say bride price.
But here we are talking of dowry.
Good. So my point of view was that when we talk about dowry, it started in the olden day, the saints. But then it is usually given to the groom. I don't know. But then that is what I understood it. So that the bride price, it is the man that goes to pay the bride price to the bride's family to ask her hand in marriage. Okay. And that is what is still exercised till now. If you are a man, if you want a woman, you go and pay her price. That is the bride price. You go, they will give you some things, you go and pay before you can get a hand in marriage.
Okay.
That is how the family usually do it.
Okay. So you mean we should use the word bride price instead of dowry?
So if we talk about a man going for a woman to ask, or a man asking a woman hand in marriage, as it is done traditionally in our localities, that one is the bride price.
Okay.
That one is what the man pays to ask the woman's hand in marriage.
Okay, thank you. If my producer is ready, we take a musical break from the album of Chidinma, Falling in Love.
Radio Lomé.
Just tuned in, you are listening to Radio Lomé, and the program going on is What Do You Know? Today's What Do You Know? Is it important to pay a dowry of a woman before marriage? We've already spoken about that. Now, what is the importance of paying a dowry in our culture and in a religious side? Let me come in this way. In Muslim way, when there is a lady with you, because I'm a Muslim, so I only talk about Muslim. I don't know about Christians. Yeah. If you are with a lady, and maybe the lady got pregnant and put to bed, now you call the imams to come and do the naming ceremony for you. First of all, they will ask you, have you paid the dowry of your wife? If you say yes, they will say, who are your witnesses? And after paying the dowry, who are the man of God that blessed your union? They will ask you those two questions. It happened to somebody. I will not mention names. When the wife put to bed first, the alpha that came to the naming ceremony asked these two questions. The man said, oh, it's an accident. Accident? You impregnated somebody's daughter and you are calling it just an accident that you don't know. Okay. They did it, and they told him that the next time, don't tell us it is an accident. And you, woman, do not give yourself to this man again if he did not go to ask of your hand into marriage from your parent by paying your dowry. And after paying your dowry, he's supposed to call the men of God to come and bless your union. Either than that, in Muslim way, you are just fornicating. So that is just into brackets. Okay. The importance of paying a dowry of a woman in a religious side. So you tell us from your point of view.
As a Christian, I also say it's very, very important. Yes, you cannot just bypass that. And even to some people, some of the men, when they are ready to pay that, the pastor or the church executives, they would have to take him through certain processes to examine the man, to know the man very well.
Investigation.
Yes.
And educating for you how to live with a woman.
How to live.
And you, the woman, to how to live with a man. because the two of you had different training from different backgrounds.
Good.
And now you are coming together.
Yeah. So you pass through. Some of the churches are 3 months, others 4 months, others 2 months, like that, before you can even go ahead. Because they believe that by the time you pass through all those things, then you are so strong physically, spiritually, everywhere to be able to cater for the woman. And then more so, it's also important because it helps for people to publicly know that, yes, you are married and you are for this person. They recognize it very well. But just as the scenario you gave, if you don't pay it, they don't recognize your union as marriage. They don't recognize it as legal, or they don't recognize it as you pass the right way. So in Christian perspective, it is really, really important and necessary to pass through that before marriage.
Okay, my dear.
All right. As we had from Exodus at the Christian aspect, showing that dowry is very important when it comes to marriage, I would like to quote this one from the Quran as well, from Surah Nisa, chapter 4, that's Quran chapter 4, verse 4. And it says, and give the woman you want to marry the mahar. That is the name of dowry in Arab. And we also say sadaki in our local. So the mahar, you have to give it. That is, they explain the mahar as the obligatory bridal money given by the husband to the wife at the time of marriage with a good heart. So this means that it's very, very important when it comes to the Islamic aspect as well. Now, looking at the cultural aspect, the cultural aspect too is very important because it's the token that the man gives to the woman's parents to show that, to thank the man, to show appreciation for even taking the family taking good care of such a beautiful lady and bringing her up to a certain level that is worth getting married to. So it is something to show show a gratitude to that family, and also to console them for taking the child out of that house. Now they may be missing her. Some of the services she may be granting to them may be no more. So they give it out just to appease them for all that they have done.
Little darling, don't shed no tears. No woman, no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit in the government yard in Trenchtown, and then Georgie would make the firelight as it was love would burning through the night.
I would not be able to mention names, but all University of Education Winneba students and UCC students and all Nigerian students who are with us at Village du Lomé.
Okay, thank you very much. This is how I wrap up today's discussions from Radio Lomé. Thanks for listening. And to all my guests who were with me today, starting from
Emmanuel Ankraba.
Thank you very much.
Bright Norma.
Thank you.
Ademo Robert.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to make today's program a successful one. And bye for now.
Something like a butterfly. You are one of a kind. I never seen your type. Oh, must be a brand new species. Brand new species. One of a kind. Never seen your type. Oh, must be from the overseas. Overseas. Something like a butterfly. You're my butterfly. Don't fly away, butterfly. Where you go, butterfly? Would you be my butterfly? See butterfly. Butterfly. Figure butterfly. My African butterfly. Come here, baby, come closer. Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't you keep me waiting, no. For your love, I'm waiting, no. It's the match, we said no waiting. Come and see a butterfly. Come, baby. Come, baby, come make we dance, yeah.